All right. Welcome back to episode 009 of the Okay podcast. I'm your host, Grant Broggi, and I'm here in studio, and it feels a little bit more like a studio each time.
Yeah, it does. We got mics.
There's a studio,
cameras.
There's a studio cat.
Well, you need the cat.
That wants to leave. Oh, never mind. He's chilling.
No, there he is, right there.
Yeah, there he is, right there. But yeah, episode 009. We're recording live from the upstate of South Carolina. Rainy day today. In the year of our Lord, let's see, February 27th in the year of our Lord 2024. A leap year, so we get to live through February 29th this year, which is exciting. PJ's here, and what's the current price of Bitcoin?
Oh man, we got a lot to talk about with Bitcoin. So
good.
So today's price of Bitcoin is a monstrous $57,000 US dollars.
Wow, HODL, baby.
That's right.
HODL.
Now we have something very important to talk about, and I just have a question.
Send it.
Do you like facts?
Yeah.
You like facts?
Yeah, big facts guy.
A fan of the truth?
Yeah.
Okay, because only truth on the OK podcast.
I avoid fake news as much as possible.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fake news. The OK podcast, this is not fake news.
Everything is okay.
Only facts. I have a second question.
Okay.
Do you like money?
Yeah, especially when it's Bitcoin.
Yeah, I love it too. Well, I have good news for you. So here's
you can't love money. Because the love of money is the root of all evil.
But you can make money.
But you can love Bitcoin.
That is true.
The Bible said nothing about Bitcoin.
That's true. This is true. Check the scripture.
It's basically the Bible's 10 commandments, BTC.
That's it. That's it.
Anyway.
So here's a couple of facts for you about making money that you're going to love.
Okay.
So today's price, $57,000.
I like
that.
Now,
this is a fact. When we started the OK podcast, the price of Bitcoin was $45,098.
Not a smart man, but I'm going to say that's about a 24.39% increase.
Well, you exactly nailed it.
Homeschool math, baby.
Homeschool math, nailed it. So I'm just saying, it's a fact that since starting the OK Pod, Bitcoin has increased 26.4%.
That's crazy. So what did we top out at in 2020?
It was like a meme. It was $69,000.
It was $69,000. Of course it was.
Nice.
Of course it was. Nice. And then it went down to 420. It was 69,000 was the top. We never hit top. 70.
Nope. It barely didn't.
And then we hit 50, maybe 2 or 3 more times?
Yeah, it bounced around there and then it crashed to like 30.
Yeah, that's called a sale.
A big sale. And then it kind of hung around there and everybody's like, that's it. It's on sale. It's not going any lower, going straight to the moon from here. And then it halved again to 15,000. And that was the dark days of Bitcoin. And
I mean,
everyone
depending
was sad.
on how you look at it.
Or it was the great days of Bitcoin, depending on what you think. Now, another fun fact for all the haters out there.
Plenty of them.
S&P 500 typically returns, 7%, 10%.
Are you going to tell me what it is since we started the podcast?
No. I'm just saying that's a typical return per year. Bitcoin percentage return from 1 year ago today, 246% increase.
Man,
you can't afford not to.
It's facts.
Those are the facts of the day. Only facts.
And the facts are okay. No, that's good. That's good. To stay consistent. What's the block height?
Uh-oh. Yeah. I didn't even look up the block height. I was so excited.
Here you are just rolling around in your hodling that you forgot about the nerds.
This relates to something good. So the block height today, and we're very close to the halving, the block height is 832,329, and we're a little bit over a month from the Bitcoin halving.
The halving is first week of April.
Sometime in April. It's hard to predict exactly when, but it'll be in April. Okay. And so that's when the block height hits a certain number, and then the incoming supply of Bitcoin will be cut in half. But all the Bitcoin nerds will be like, this is good because we have more people chasing a fewer amount of Bitcoin being produced. Okay. And I'm not a math genius, but I'm pretty sure lower supply, higher demand.
Yeah. That's it.
It's it.
That's it. That's why we're about to go out of stock on Strength Co 45s. Just, let's lessen this supply.
Econ 101.
Yeah.
You should limit them, like only 100 left.
Yeah. There actually is only, people will get upset about this. Good thing there's only 200 followers on Instagram and 174 subscribers on YouTube and 500 downloads a week. But I think I have 25 pairs of 45s right now.
That's it.
Yeah, we're about to run out, but I have like 800 at E-Coat that got there yesterday. And so they'll probably be done. Like they'll be packaged up and ready to ship by like March 10th.
No. We don't know when they'll be done.
We have no idea.
We have no idea. It could be years.
With the supply chain issues.
It could be years. So get them now.
There's no way of telling. Buy those last 25 pairs. And if you buy them and we're out, you want to be at the top of the list.
Right.
You want to be the first guy that gets his plate shipped when we're back in stock.
You want to be at the bottom of the list?
Yeah.
No.
This podcast is powered by the Strength Co., which I cannot remember to say, but it somehow always comes out. And with the multimedia arms that we have, I feel like we get the message out.
I think so.
That it's there. I don't have a ton on the agenda before the guys come on. I don't have any rants. I did go fishing. I don't have any story about how strength equals freedom, but I did go fishing and I caught one fish and it was smaller than my hand, but it validated the whole thing.
A fish is a fish.
Fish is a fish, and you get what you get and you don't throw a fit or something like that.
I mean, yeah, my grandma used to say that to me.
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I haven't heard, we've briefly talked about it, but could you explain your thoughts on the whole Travis Kelce, training clip that he talked about? Did you see that?
Yeah. Which one's Travis? Not the cool one.
Not the cool one.
So the skinnier one.
The weaker, skinnier one.
Which goes on to say, we have to talk about your body weight because clearly being bigger is better.
It actually, the lifting's going great. So,
okay, good. So when they asked him about who can lift more, and Travis says he doesn't bench press.
Right.
And Jason says he squats 500 every year before the season just to make sure his strength is still there.
Which isn't even that impressive for him.
I mean, I don't want to say not at all, but that guy's capability is unbelievable. I mean, I just thought it was a typical pro athlete response. Like they are so much better than we are at doing things that they don't need to understand what it takes to build a bunch of strength. Now, I mean, I can't sit here and say that Travis Kelce needs to put on a bunch of strength because what he's doing is working. I always didn't like this when people were like, oh, if Tom Brady would get stronger. I'm like, if Tom Brady would get stronger, what? Like he's the best that it's ever been. So yes, like I think it comes down to when people talk about strength in sports and we talk about the 2-factor model and, hey, you get strong, you don't specifically practice your sport in the weight room.
Right.
You just get stronger and then your sport is better. I believe this. I also think that if you are a genetic freak, you're in such a different category that some of the general population stuff that we do, like, I think if you put me at, I don't know, Presbyterian College, or where'd you go? You went to small school, right?
Butler University.
Yeah. They have a football team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basketball team.
I know they have a good basketball team, but
yeah, they had a football team.
They had a football team.
Yeah.
So I actually think you take an intelligent strength and conditioning coach and you put him at a really small school with slightly above average people.
Right.
And then you apply the principles that we apply in strength training. Right. I think that team gets way better.
Right.
I think you take Travis Kelce and you have him bench 405.
Yeah.
I don't know that it changes his tight end game.
Right.
Like, you can make the argument, better joints, better tissues, less injuries, and all of that is true. But I don't like the argument of saying Michael Jordan would have been a better basketball player if he squatted 500.
Right.
So that's, you're referring to it because I tweeted that clip.
Right.
And we had a lot of comments on that clip and a lot of people arguing about it, which is just amazing what people argue out in a public forum. But
that's social
the
media.
internet. Yeah.
But would you say that still, even though maybe he doesn't need a 500, 600 pound squat, maybe he doesn't need that, but is barbell training still the best kind of training that he could do for the sport, even if he's not pushing his numbers?
I think so. I mean, he said he likes to do explosive functional training.
Here we go.
Like, what does that even mean?
I think a Bosu ball is involved.
So, I mean, in that case, it's why would you load your human body, put 1 foot on an unstable surface and risk injury?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
He's already explosive.
If he gets stronger, he's going to be more explosive. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he shouldn't strength training. And I'm not saying that strength training wouldn't be the best thing for him. What I'm saying is when you take someone at the top of their professional sport, you can't just sprinkle strength training on and say they're going to get better because they're not good because of strength. They're good because of a bunch of other factors.
Right.
I think it would improve. I think it would make it more robust. But yeah, I thought the most interesting part of that clip was that Jason Kelce thought 500 pounds was a lot. And don't get me wrong, I've only squatted 515. And one time, I could not do it today for sure. I've tried to beat it and I've missed. But I just thought that he was like, yeah, I like to squat 500 before a season because like mentally it just makes me strong. And I mean, what's he weigh?
I think I figured this out.
275?
It was like 270, 280, something like that. Yeah,
it's got to be. Yeah, it was if not there. 300.
Off season, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting that he was thought about that as like, yeah, then I'm strong. And that's a great squat.
Maybe that's just a baseline for him though. Maybe that's like saying, hey, before I go into the season, I want to squat, make sure I can hit 315. Kind of like hey, at least you're this strong. Just like a bare minimum sort of.
No, I get it. No, I get it. I mean, I have bare minimums in my mind.
Yeah.
I just expected that number to be 750.
I mean, but it could be probably.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm just surprised in his mind.
It
just tells you here's 2 NFL players, brothers, genetic freaks. Well, Jason was on the Eagles when they won, right? So they're both Super Bowl champions. And it's a 500-pound squat. And I haven't had a bunch of people come into my gym and squat 500 pounds. But I've had some.
Right. But in the NFL locker, in the gym, in the NFL gyms, that's probably not uncommon.
Yeah, no, it's not. And it's just amazing that was a number. But no, I thought that was.
So you don't think it would really change their game that much?
I mean,
it's marginal.
I think it's marginal, especially at more skill positions. I do think like if you take an O lineman that's 300 pounds and you double his squat, there's no way he doesn't get better. He plants his feet and he pushes on people.
Yeah. Quarterback.
A quarterback, definitely like, okay, I have no idea.
Right.
Travis Kelce, he's a tight end, but he's kind of a wide receiver.
Right.
He's not a Gronkowski, mowing people. Like he's more of a wide receiver, more of a skill player, tight end, I would say. But yeah, it was interesting. It's always fun to hear like the best at a sport talk about strength training and what they think about the numbers.
I think it's just that the rules are different, right? For genetic freaks. I mean, I remember this is a different field, but I think the same idea. I remember I went to, this is breaking news for the OK podcast.
Breaking news.
So I studied music in college. I was a big musician, played all the time, majored in it. So I was surrounded by a bunch of music people. Well, obviously you're supposed to practice and you have tests and performances and all this stuff going on through college. And some people were very diligent practicers and some people would slack off.
Yeah.
Right. And it was funny because those were not, how much you practice was not exactly correlated to how well you performed, because you just forget, oh yeah, some people are just blessed.
Yes.
Right. And I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but like I was a genetically I just have a knack for playing music. I always had an ear and everything. And I would do better than people who practice a lot. And I would kind of like, oh, let me practice like a week before and see what I can do. And I would end up doing better. And I was like, this isn't fair. Or actually, you know what a really good one is? You would do ear training. So the example would be like, hey, here's a note. Here's another note. What's that interval?
Okay.
Or like, here's a note on if this is a C and they'll play like, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And they'll play a chord. Like, what chord is that?
Okay.
And like for me and my mom and my grandmother, like we can just hear that and be like,
no.
Oh, that's an F minor. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or that's a G major, whatever. I don't even know what that is. Like I could just do that. But some people had to study a long time. So it's like, if It's just the rules are different for people. You just forget about the confounding factor of genetics.
Sure.
Right. And so with these guys, maybe their baseline without even trying is still just way above the normal person's athletic ability.
It is. You know? I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Jason and Travis, nothing but facts in the OK podcast.
Could you bench more than Travis right now?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, based off what he says,
right.
I mean, I don't say that like I could bench more. I mean, actually we should talk about that. So we had the what it takes to bench press 315 video did really well. 225,000 views. It needs to get to 315,000 views. It kind of has
a destiny.
And the funniest thing, you know, we always use the meme. I just posted a meme the other day. A bunch of old guys said, you know, guys talking about how they could bench 315 when they were in high school. And that's always the kind of running joke. People talking about what they used to be able to bench.
Right.
And that's what everyone asks in the gym. How much can you bench? The funny thing about that video, so we get tons of comments. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and commenting. But on that video, everyone that's ever had to bench 315 felt the need to comment when they did it, how old they were, and what their body weight was. And that's fine
right now.
Oh,
yeah.
It's comment after comment. I'm trying to pull it up too because it was. I want to read some of these.
Just recently hit 315. I weigh 174. Hit a plateau 305. Static holds and pause reps broke through.
I'm 165 at 5'6". My current bench PR is 308. By the way, squat 396, deadlift 482. I'm 26, consistently training for 5 years. I do not have good genetics, so go ahead. Everything is possible. Best luck from Germany. Danke. How do I do this on the mobile app to see all these comments? Just missed 285 at 155. Yeah, it's just amazing the amount of comments on that. Saying when they benched it.
Yeah, we struck a nerve.
Yeah, we did. Everyone wants to know that. It's also worth noting that your lifts can be skyrocketed by improving your technique. It will help you a lot in your current stage, but it'll also make your training more efficient. And then a lot of paragraphs on their bench.
Well, how old were you, body weight, age, height, for benching 315?
You know, Jordy, I'm just so strong. I don't even remember.
From the womb.
No, I'm going to guess it was around 2010, 11. I was probably 210 pounds. Something like that.
Not bad.
Are we talking all natural or juiced? Because that's a big gap on getting 315. Just hit 315 for the first time, 175 pounds. Anybody hitting 315 at 185? I'm hella short at 5'4".
I mean, someone says, what does it take to bench 315? About 10 years. No, most people cannot do it. Has nothing to do with life getting in the way. And most cannot do 225.
Oof, that's definitely wrong.
Yeah.
That's definitely wrong. You hit a big PR this week.
I did. Oh, yeah.
What I would probably say is one of the bigger PRs.
Really?
Tell them what it is, and then I'll...
So I hit a body weight press.
Yeah.
So I'm 185, roughly. I was like 160, 186. At the time, I was 185, but, you know, milk is helping. But I hit a 185 press. Grant had programmed me to hit a PR. And he said,
Coach knows.
And he said 170 ? But then we talked outside of that. I realized that I had hit 170 before. So I go in.
That was your previous PR, right?
No, my previous was 177
and a half.
Yeah. And so I go in and I'm like, all right, well, let's choose your own adventure. So I put 180 on the bar. I was like, that's a nice little PR.
Yeah. Always go for the baby PR.
Right.
Always.
So I hit 180 and I was like, wait. That kind of felt smooth.
Nice.
Like it moved, you know? So then I'm so close to having the 45 and the 25 on each side.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
You know, it's a great pull. It's like a psychological pull to do that. So I was like, dude, I can't not try 185.
Yeah, you have to.
I have to try 185. So I loaded up to 185. Felt really excited about it. Like walked around Blockhaven gym like 3 times because I was like so amped, like just had to calm down. And I go up there and I grab it and I pressed it and it moved. It moved like pretty well.
Great. No, I thought it was great.
Like it's too far away from me. I don't
think so. So I saw a guy's comment on X.
Oh, I mean, I thought that even before I saw that too.
I mean, maybe a little forward, but I think where people always think this is you have some layback.
I do.
And you don't have an excessive layback, but you have some. And so you have to think about
the center line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so people look at the face.
Yeah. The distance from the face.
And I don't think that was I mean, sure, maybe it could have been a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I'd actually have to see a video from the side. I thought when I saw it.
I'll play the video here.
Play the video.
You can watch it. You can be the judge if this is, too forward or not. I thought maybe I was a little forward, but you can see in there, it's going forward, but I get it back.
Yeah. You got it back,
I get it back, and now it's in that groove, and you could just kind of I feel like it's like a tricep sort of press up after that.
You're always trying to close the gap because the bar starts in front of the shoulder. So I always tell lifters, try to get the bar from being in front of the shoulders to over the shoulders. And as soon as your head gets out of the way, shorten that distance. But
actually, that's a good topic because I feel like you would know more than me, but just in my experience, the press feels like there's like two halves of the press. It's like the first half is you got to clear that. You got to clear your head, get it up over like your nose.
Sure.
That sticking point. And then once it floats over your head,
you got to shrug.
Then, you got to shrug, but then it feels like it's like a different movement. It feels like more of like I don't know what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's like a different feeling. It's like a deadlift. There's like kind of two halves.
Yeah.
To the deadlift,
And especially if you're doing like a press 2.0 where you're throwing the hips,
right?
That first movement's all timing, getting that bounce right and getting it up.
Yep.
And then it just switches to a shrug and locking it out.
Yeah. But I hit bodyweight press, which is a big milestone.
It's a huge deal. I mean, I think the bodyweight press is probably, so I've seen a lot of people deadlift 405, seen a lot of people deadlift 500, I've seen a lot of people squat 405, and you see this across different body weights, different body types. If you train those lifts consistently because they use so much of you, people can do it. I have not seen a lot of bodyweight presses. I mean, I've seen probably more than anyone listening to this podcast from the nature of the line of work I'm in, but I can't rattle off a bunch of names of people that can press their body weight.
Really?
It's very difficult.
Nice. I hit that before a 4 or 5 squat.
Yeah. I think it's more impressive.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what I actually think, especially because you came to me with a bum shoulder.
You know what's weird? Actually, I think about that. My press is pretty decent for my, like if you look at all the lifts, but my bench, I would say, is not. And it's funny how those are less related than I would think.
Yeah, they're different. I don't know. Well, you just gotta give your bench a little more time.
Yeah, I guess
I just gotta hit a PR on it.
Question mark.
And then YOLO.
Next time be like PR 315 question
PR
mark.
315 question mark. If Grant asks, it happens.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Nice. Congrats.
Thank you.
I did have a little, I've talked about in the past on YouTube videos and stuff about 5x5 squats and just like the mental place. And, it's funny because this week we're going to the Arnold. We're probably about to talk about that a good bit. And so I'm like, hey, I'm going to try and get 2 sessions in before we leave on Wednesday. And then I'll do something at the Arnold itself. I'll have the ability, clean and press something or deadlift. And so I went in today and I, per the logbook, I should squat, or this is yesterday, I should squat 425 for 5 sets of 5. As I went in, I woke up that morning, my back was kind of tight. And I'm like, I don't actually know if I can do this. And I thought, well, Grant, you're getting ready to go to the Arnold. And then next Monday, when you would be doing the next weight, you'll be driving back in the car. So you won't be able to squat heavy then. So, this program or this cycle, this current block you're running, doesn't really matter. And you should just do 3 sets of 5 and you'll be fine. And just do 3 sets of 5 at 425. That's way more than other people squat. That's heavy for you. That's up there on the list. Just do that. And I don't know that if I thought that that's what I was actually thinking. What I did think was I wish I was filming a training vlog right now because I'm definitely in my own mind. But I got through the first set. I got through the second set. And I think right after the second set, I thought, no, you should do 3 sets of 5 and then back down and do the other 2. And I just kept lifting, telling myself, hey, Grant, one rep at a time, 1 set at a time. I finished my 3rd set. I'm like, well, I got to walk out set 4. I can't give up on this. And so I did, and I hit set 4, and then I hit set 5, and I filmed set 1 and set 5. I looked back at set 5, and it was way faster than I had thought it was in my own head. And I finished it. And I've had that scenario so many times where I go in for the 5x5 day. I look at the number. I think it's not possible, and I try to give myself outs. And but I did it anyway. And I got them all, and I felt super accomplished. If you do 5x5 and it's actually hard and you've had those doubts in your head, when you finish, you feel like you could do anything right after that. And I was talking to my mom later in that day, and she was, talking about her program, and is she at the point in her lifting where she's smart enough that she could program herself? And I said, I don't know. I said, because you really have to know yourself. And because a lot of people, even though they know it's supposed to be challenging, my mom knows it's supposed to be challenging. She lifts really hard. She pulls on things that I think aren't going to move for 5 seconds, and then they start to move. She's not taking the easy way out. But I thought about that, and that's what I told her. And our phone conversation actually got cut short. But I just said, yeah, maybe you can program yourself, but sometimes you need someone outside of your own thoughts saying, hey, hit a PR. Or, my brother who trains with us, and a lot of my clients often tell me, they'll go to walk into the gym and they'll pull up the workout that maybe they've been assigned, and they'll think, before they look at it, they're thinking, my back's bad today. I hope it's lighter or whatever. And they'll see the numbers and they'll go, well, Grant thinks I can do this, so I must be able to do it. And then they do it and they're successful. And sometimes they're not, but then you have data. But yeah, no, I had it was a good 5x5 moment where I just realized, like, man, I think there's so much mental value to walking into a workout and every single rep thinking in your mind, I should take the weight down. Do I really need to be squatting 425 by 5x5? What's the difference if I do 1 set of 5, then 2 sets at 405, and then 3 sets at 365? And the difference is you're making it easier intentionally when nothing is actually wrong. Yeah. You just don't want to do the hard thing.
And your mind will come up with whatever excuse
so
appeals
many
to
excuses.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of the I'll just call it like the Odysseus method. You hear about was it like Homer in the Odyssey, right? There's that story. He was like on the ship and there's the sirens on the rocks. It tries to call to the sailors, and all the sailors realize they're going to get, mesmerized by their song and turn their ship. And then it's too late. And then they crash on the rocks. That's how everybody dies. And so he said, tie me to the rafters, because I'm not going to be able to resist the siren song.
Yeah, there you go.
And he said, stuff my ears with cotton, tie me to the rafters. And when I'm screaming at you, let me go. Don't do it. Right. And that's what they did. And they were able, that's the only reason they were able to survive and get to land it. And I'm like, so what's better than willpower is just forcing yourself not to even be able to make the choice.
So the straight bar, don't use a Mars bar. Use a straight bar. Just tie yourself into that thing. Make your shoulders about to pop and squat.
Buy a core bar. Rope yourself to it.
This is why I think that people do much better, the majority of normal gym pop lifters, at pushing themselves on the squat than they do on the deadlift. Because on the deadlift, you can just stop. You can just say, this sucks, and you can let go. You can pull it 1 inch off the ground. You can exert force for 1 inch and let go. But when you walk out of squat and you step back, the weight of the world is on your shoulders. And the minute that you break at the knees and break the hips and start riding that thing down, even if you're in the squat rack with safety pins, even if you failed it before, what you think is, if I don't stand this up, this is clear and certain death. I must stand it up.
Yeah.
And this is why people like the squats always, especially with newer lifters, where you see people push themselves better because you don't feel like you can quit. Whereas in the deadlift, you just go, I'm done.
Yeah. There's no way out with the squat. Didn't
There's
feel
only
like
one way. There's only one way out. It's up.
Like Bitcoin.
Yeah. Up like Bitcoin. Anyway, it's enough lifting talk.
All right.
We should probably let these guys in here.
Let's do it.
All right. All right, are we ready? Do we remember the order?
Oh,
Jeff,
I was third.
Tre, Jordy, and then all guidons. So episode 009 of the
Okay
podcast. And we're all hosts. We're all hosts here. The ground is level at the foot of the cross. Everyone is equal. I'm Grant Broggi, coming to you from Utah. We have...
You
have to say your name.
That was anticlimactic.
Oh, my name, Jeff Biggie.
Yeah. There you go. And coming to you from the great country of Frisco, Texas, we have
my name Tre
Gottlich, Robert Gottlich the third, and then we have PJ here.
What's up?
And a lot of exciting things to talk about. We do have a sponsor. And I'm trying to pull up the sponsor ad.
This is the best sponsor we've ever had, by the way.
Yeah, I would say by a large margin.
Huge.
Amazing.
Not
far
close.
and away. I can't even name another. I can't remember the other sponsors we've had.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Forgettable they were. Yeah.
I mean, you can't even remember them, but I'm struggling to pull up the ad. Does anyone want to name the sponsor while I do this?
It's bwtaxllc.com. That is bwtaxllc.com. Get all your tax needs solved quick, fast, in a hurry.
That's right. All that's
Do
true.
accurately.
Do I have to wait till April?
Okay, here we go. You ready?
Attention orders.
Play the music.
Attention to orders. Quick pause, folks, to shout out to our friends at BW Tax in Greenville, South Carolina. Run by a diehard Boston sports fan and proud Citadel alumnus, BW Tax takes the pain out of tax season for individuals and business alike. I've used them, and believe me, they're like having a tax genius and fellow sports enthusiast in your corner. Whether you're tackling self-employment taxes or aiming for your personal best in your return, BW Tax is your go-to team. Don't be sidelined by tax stress, and don't think you got to live in the great state of South Carolina to hire BW Tax. They can take care of your taxes nationwide. Now, back to the show. Let's go bring home a win. But remember, www.bwtaxllc.com. Tell them the OK Podcast sent you. Thanks, and this message is approved by Brennan One.
Nice.
I
would love a personal best on my tax return.
Yeah.
PR?
Yeah.
Tax PR?
I'm always trying.
What do you consider a personal best?
I think it has to be. I think it's like the opposite. It's like lower is a personal best, like what you actually owe.
Yeah, I know. I'd always, whenever like we were in the Marines and like Marines would be like super happy that they got a huge return. I'm like,
you gave your money to the government all year.
You gave a no interest loan. You just got your money back, man.
Oh yeah.
They're not hooking you up.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, it was free money.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. You know, we always see a spike in sales for who this podcast is powered by, the Strength Co. around tax season. And I'm like, were you really waiting on $800 to come back? I mean, if you were, great. Thanks. You picked the right place to spend it. Right. But tax returns.
I've always been 1099 life, so I never got like the return.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just had a bill.
So you would say you're a hustler.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Jeff, what direction are we headed in today?
Well, I mean, but we want to hear something you do know about PJ. Almost use your real name.
What's
going on with the weight? How are we doing? Like, still drinking milk?
Hang on.
Over soy milk?
Let's do a little wager. So the OK Podcast Instagram right now, the OK_podcast, go give us a follow, is currently at 197 followers.
Oh, dadgum.
Do we think that Jordy's body weight is above?
Heck
or
no.
below?
Now I'm wearing a large hoodie. It might be hard to tell, you know.
Okay.
I'm not at 196.
We go I'll go 188.
A little under that. I was like
maybe soaking wet in a paper bag.
What was that, like 186.7, something like that?
That's what you reported this morning.
You gained 0.7 this week. Wow.
0.8. Yeah, not good.
0.8.
Not good. That
right.
last half a gallon was my ticket to the promised land.
Have you been doing 2 Fairlifes a day?
Yeah, I've been just slamming that. You know what my problem is, though? Here's my problem, and you guys can roast me for this.
Okay.
I will. Okay. Actually, you know what the best part about the 2 Fairlife a day thing is?
You can drive.
It's not a gallon. Yeah.
Well, that's one. No, you don't.
I can drive.
The Billy Martin diet.
You don't even need cups. You don't even need cups anymore because I just crack open and I just set that on my desk and I'm just sipping that like all day. I just have a thing.
Do you let it get warm?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not even good at some point. But this is not about flavor. This is about.
It's kind of like
it's about conserving water.
It's about the spices. But anyway, you know what my problem is though? I think I'm eating less food because I'm just chugging Fairlife all day. So I think I'm canceling out myself a little bit. So that's my new problem. Yeah.
Victim
That's
weight.
rough.
You got to push Chow.
I gotta push the
Chow's
chow.
continuous.
Hey, Chow's continuous.
You moved in the right direction, right?
I will say I haven't been hungry in like 3 weeks. Like
I believe
not one time, not even close.
When people ask me what's the chow plan, I'm like, chow's continuous. Why do I need a plan? I just keep eating.
Go find
That's the
food
plan.
and eat it.
Simple plan.
That's the plan. We do have a new challenge going on in our Slack community channel.
Go on.
So all it is, and I'm really curious to see how this goes. So you can join the Slack channel for $29 a month. You can come in, talk to Grandpa, get access to all your podcast hosts, litany of starting strength coaches for the low price, $29 a month. But anyway, to the 200 members that are in there, we have a $5 challenge for the month of March. And all you have to do is say if you want to gain weight or lose weight, and you don't even have to talk about and what numbers all the people are, but you just say if you want to gain or lose, you pay $5, and then every day you just post your weight in the new private thread with all the participants. And if you just post your weight every day, whether you go up or down, depending on which way your goal is going, if you do that, we give you a $25 gift card. And I'm really curious to see how this goes because I was actually thinking about Jordy's milk deal. I'm like, if we didn't make him say live on air, yes, I will drink a gallon of whole milk.
Oh, that was the only reason.
That was the only reason.
Absolutely.
And you would have tried.
Yeah.
But you would have gotten to day 4, had diarrhea, and been like, it's not worth it. I'm out.
First 3 days would have convinced me. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the accountability challenge. Okay.
Public shaming. No, it's not public shaming.
It works.
Trey,
It does. It's
Trey,
very
you're
effective.
You're losing too much weight.
All right.
Man.
So
interesting. I like this challenge. Does it have a name?
March Madness.
Very
Clever. Clever name.
The channel's called March Accountability Challenge. Code name Mac.
Mac. Yeah.
Join the Mac. Big code guy.
I like it.
All right.
I'm worried about the Arnold because I'm gonna have to figure out my Fairlife situation for the Arnold.
Aren't you? They have grocery stores in Ohio. I'm not too worried.
I'm gonna have to stop by.
Yeah, there's gonna be a cooler at the booth. Definitely.
Yeah, there's gonna be a Strength Co booth and just like 8 Fairlife jugs lined up next to the t-shirts.
We're gonna be sponsored by the end of the week. Yeah.
Although, some powerlifter is gonna stumble into that cooler and go, "Oh, great!
How much for the Fairlife?
I've never heard of Fairlife beer." Oh man. What else we got there, Hefe? What's next on the next
we got
slide?
Trey next up on the docket. We're gonna get our updates in.
You got
talk some lifting, and then if you got a question, let's hear it.
I always got questions.
Always.
Lifting. So I started incorporating. What's that video you put in last week, Grant?
Are you like an LLC? Is that what you mean by being incorporated?
Yeah.
If you need help with your taxes,
I've been talking to B-Dubs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old BW.
Okay, which program?
The one that you in the video is kind of like, hey, end of novice, start running this.
Yeah.
So I incorporated that, man, and I've noticed a difference already. So it's been good. So I doing heavy squat Monday, Friday, light squat Wednesday, and then a heavy deadlift on Wednesday, right?
Yep.
And a light deadlift Friday, I believe. So I got tomorrow, I'm going for 455 on deadlift.
Let's go.
And then yesterday for 1 set of 5. And then yesterday I did 3 sets of 5 on, what did I say, 380? Yeah.
On the squat, yeah.
On the squat, 275 bench. So it's going good, man. Yeah, like I said, it was about the right time for I was feeling it in between workouts, lifting heavy that much. So it was a good change up.
I think if this was the first time you'd kind of lifted heavy and rode up, And you're a young man, but like for younger lifters, I like them to fail so they can understand, they walk out of squat, they think they can't do it. And then all of a sudden they're at rep 5 and like, all that's beneficial. But I think if you've run it up before, once you have, I think there's I think you buy yourself more weeks of progress by making the change before you're just failing everything. Like failing everything isn't, because then you're just zapped and you go into the next session and you're still overly stressed. And I think like adding in that light squat day, removing so many heavy deadlifts before you're missing reps, I think is very beneficial.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So question brought to you by
BW Tax.
BW Tax.
BW.
If you got questions on your taxes, call BW. If you got questions about lifting, call Grant. Yeah. All right. Question. So getting older. We're all getting older. Maybe PJ, how old are you?
30.
Hey, can we play the Garth Brooks line right now?
It would be very in-depth.
For being this damn old. Feeling this. Wait, I'm much too young to be feeling this damn old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Got it. Okay. Anyway, continue. Go ahead, Garth.
Warming up, doing different warm-ups for these exercises. I've always been under the impression, which I think I got from you, is you warm up with the exercise that you're doing. Do you still buy into that? Do you deviate from that at all as far as doing other warm-ups? I don't know. Let's say if you tweak something, I don't know, like take that and run with it.
Yeah. So I think warm-ups in general for most people in the gym, the best warm-up for the exercise is the exercise itself. If I'm going to squat, then I warm up the squat by squatting, not by doing jumping jacks. And I think that principle holds true, and you still need to warm up the actual movement that you're going to do. However, and 10 years ago, I would have said like, why are you messing with that rubber band? Just squat. And now I'll say like, hey, my shoulders need some work to be able to get into the squat position. So I do some like one arm hangs on the pull-up bar and rotate kind of like a rock climber. I haven't figured out why to bench 185 on an incline bench press over and over as a rock climber does. But the hanging part I kind of get. I do this stretch underneath. I'll sometimes go to the wall and turn away. And I don't know how much is happening, but it makes me feel more comfortable when I get under the squat. And then I still go through, okay, I'm going to squat the empty bar. Then I'm going to make a plate jump or whatever the jumps are. But yeah, you still have to warm up. But I guess what I would say is there's a lot of times where people come into the gym and they sit on a lacrosse ball and they roll around. And I used to be like, what do you actually think that's doing? And now I'm like, hey, if you want to roll around that lacrosse ball and then get under the bar and squat and warm up and like that mentally prepares you, I'm all about it. Go for it. Yeah. So, I mean, the only time that I would maybe discourage this sort of thing is if people are complaining about time in the gym.
Yeah.
And I would just say like, hey, let's look at, I used to have this conversation with people in the gym. Let's look at what you do the first 20 minutes. You walk in, you talk to people for 5, you go to the bathroom and clearly do some damage. You come out of the bathroom, like you have this protocol where you grab your left ankle and stretch your quad out, and don't tell me that time is the issue, because we can totally truncate down this, warm up procedure. But yeah, you got to warm up. Why? What are you doing things without the barbell to kind of get going that you find useful?
It's like just warming up for the squat. And it's like once you do the squat, like you're ready to do everything else pretty much. Yep. Like your whole body's warm. And so getting ready for the squat, what I've been doing a lot is I'll get a band, and it helps me remember kind of shoot the knees out, is I'll get down into the low squat and I'll have a band to and I'll have it kind of around my knees to kind of push it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But outside of that, man, it's really just kind of going into it. I just didn't know if you had any other, your stance was still kind of the same, which it sounds generally, but it's also like whatever helps kind of thing.
Yeah. Whatever helps. I think in general though, I mean, today I benched only. And so, I didn't squat first. So I just went in the bench. So I think I did 5 sets of 5 with the empty bar. Whereas if I had squatted beforehand, I might have done 2 sets of 5. But, I'm cold. Like, let me get things going. Yeah. I mean, I think if things work for you, go for it.
Keep doing it. Yeah.
I find that days that I don't walk enough, I wake up the next day and I'm just incredibly sore. And every time I do it, I can go back and like look at my steps. I'm like, oh, I was super sedentary yesterday. Like, that's why I feel this way. So I don't want to say don't do warm up routines. I think they have their place. I just think that what's prepping you for a 405 squat is the load increases of squatting.
Yeah.
Then the question would be, hey, what's prepping me for the ability to squat that empty bar to start that? And maybe it's a shoulder issue. Maybe it's a hip issue. I've got people that put what are those things called, Jeff, that you put up around your hips and you like sidestep with them? It's like hip.
Oh, like a hip circle bands. Kind of thing.
Yeah. So I have people that do those and they're like, my hip kills me until I do that. And I think getting older, you get smarter. I wake up 5 out of 7 days a week. And the first thing I do is lay down in the prone right next to my bed. And I do prone push-ups because it makes my lower back feel better. And I'll, go. And so for me, that works. Is that going to work for everyone? I don't know.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I warm up the bench press for sure when I do that. I mean, I had like a nagging shoulder injury and I'm pretty good now, but I'm still like, if I don't warm up, it's pretty crunchy. Like I'll probably up into the first working set. And so even me, I mean, I'm not old, but I ain't that young. And so,
too young to feel this old. Okay.
It ain't the years, it's the miles.
So yeah, I mean, I do. I'll grab
I'll
grab like some of the smaller plates and do like a bunch of shoulder. Looks like I'm doing bodybuilding.
Loosen up a little bit.
Chasing a sick pump. I'll do like front raises inside and stuff like that. And recently, ever since I saw Connor blow up his bicep before deadlifts, when I'm warming up with the empty bar, I don't know if this does anything other than psychological.
Shoot your bicep with a gun, just
just real quick. Up. Yeah, you can't do damage at that point. You're already dead. No, I'll do curls like with the bar, just like a set of curls just with the bar, just to get the biceps warmed up too. But maybe this might all be psychological. I understand, but I think it helps.
I feel like that's half the battle. Yeah, that's half the battle right there.
Yeah. You know what else is real? BW Tax.
BW Tax. LLC.com.
Wait, what? They are?
Wait, for all your taxes.
This isn't some shell company Grant started?
And remember, you don't have to be in South Carolina.
Nah. No warm up needed for your taxes.
Go straight to your top set of 5. What's
that
next
was it,
on
man.
the docket?
What do we got? Next slide.
Now we're jumping. We're just days. I mean, Grant, you're leaving tomorrow for the Arnold? You're hours away.
Hours.
Me too.
Yeah. So
how we feeling?
We're feeling a lot of things. We're feeling good. The last 2 years, I've physically packed the truck that heads the Arnold with all our gear. I don't have the luxury of driving everything out there. Like the product needs to be new. It needs to look clean, needs to look good. If you mail it to the convention center, you deal with a lot of fees of handling by not the Arnold, but whatever convention center company they have. So anyway, the team in California, God bless Connor King, Ron, everyone, they all went to the warehouse. They loaded everything up. We had the long list. And, but because I didn't physically watch it go in, I just have this
a little bit scared,
like, oh, is everything there? And everything's there. And you know what? If something's missing, it's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be the end of the world.
It might be. We don't know.
Trey might cry.
It could be.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah. But everything's on the way. Where were they in that picture I posted of that truck?
A little over. It looks like over halfway.
It's like the Santa Claus tracker.
Wait, were you tracking I thought you shipped something, but you're actually just tracking them as they go.
So it's a box truck.
No,
it's a 10,000
truck.
Yeah, they're not
up to a box
just,
truck. Yeah.
Just tracking Connor
in their skin.
Yeah. I'm tracking Connor.
What's up, big brother?
Yeah.
Hey, Connor, it looks like you're driving a little slow. You need to pick up the pace.
A lot of Starbucks trips there, buddy.
Not to steal another podcast's line, but Big Tanner, is that you?
Oh, it's me, loud and clear. Can you hear me all right? How's my audio on this thing?
Sounds good. Sounds good. We just wanted to let you know that you're live on the
Okay
podcast, and you're our first unofficial official guest.
Well, I've got one thing to say about that. Okay.
Big Tanner gets it.
You're picking up what we're putting down, I see.
Yeah, so who all I have the pleasure of speaking with? Big Grant, I assume.
Supporting member.
Big PJ, I think you're there.
I'm here.
Small Tre.
Big Tre. We haven't met yet, but soon to meet. And then Big Jeff, of course. I'm guessing the whole cast and crew is there.
That's right.
We got the whole deal, and so we're all just chomping at the bit to talk to you. We were talking Arnold, and they didn't know that I was going to call you, but I just told them that, yep, I feel nothing. I am just as smooth as silk. Got this thing completely ironed out. Everything will go completely fine.
This is great. I haven't been thinking and talking about nothing but the Arnold constantly for the last 72 hours. So this would be great to finally get to think about it a little bit here. I've already started my journey. I left western northeast South Dakota a few hours ago.
On foot?
No, I'm back.
You're cutting out a bit. You know when you guys have those guests on the podcast and they answer the phone and it sounds like they're in a wind tunnel. That's kind of what we just experienced. But what I picked up was that you started your journey and you have a trailer of goods and you're on the way to Tommy's house.
Yeah, I'm headed south down I-29 with the Massenomics trailer and the Massenomics F-150, and I think I went through a low spot there. If I find a high spot, maybe I'll pull off here even just for a couple minutes for the sake of I don't want to be that guy with the bad connection issues.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, we're gonna do a couple questions for you. Maybe go round robin. I want to start. And what number Arnold is this for you? Mine's a two-parter because I'm your first host. What number Arnold is this for you? And which one has been your favorite and why?
This is number 6. 2024 is going to be my 6th Arnold. So I went 17 was my first year, then 18, then 19 was our first booth. Then 2020 and 2021, we couldn't go with everything going on. There was no more Arnold with everything going on. If you remember, can you guys remember back when everything was going on?
There were some things going on.
What happened then?
There was a lot going on.
Everything was basically going on, yeah. And then back in 22 and 23 last year, and now headed back for our second three-peat in 2024. So 6th year, which is crazy. They all kind of start to meld together a little bit to me after a while. But which one's the best? I'm hoping 2024. I'm hoping 24 is going to be the best. Hoping we're just going to get filthy rich this year.
That's what I heard. That's exactly what's going to happen. You know what they say? You know what the best ring is? The next ring.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. So I'm hoping we come back with an empty trailer and really full pockets. Would be an ideal scenario there. But the best one that I've already experienced, I don't know. Last year was good. 2019 was the wildest. It was our first year with a booth, and it was the biggest attendance, and we had no idea what we were doing. I'm not claiming that we know what we're doing now, but we had absolutely no idea then. And it was just kind of quite the whirlwind of experience. And I feel like a little bit of a veteran to it now, where I know a little bit better what to expect and what's going on. And it feels like there's very few things for me to see there that will really shock me anymore. I've seen, there's some wild things at the Arnold, but I feel like I've seen it a lot. So
you've seen Huck Finn do a 21 gun salute with Miller Lite.
Yeah.
And
like last year, I took a picture next to a woman that had.
Oh, I know this photo.
Yeah.
The largest breasts that I didn't even know that things existed like that. And I mean, I have the internet. I've seen things on the internet, and I still didn't know that something like that existed. So
Wow. Humble brag. He's got the internet, guys. Wow.
Would you say that she's natty?
I do not think she's not entirely natty.
Okay, got it.
Potential sponsor, the internet.
Al Gore,
we're working on it.
But we would love that.
Trey's working on it 24/7.
We would love that potential sponsor.
I just can I clear the air on one other thing?
Yeah,
go for it.
Before we get too deep, I just want to make sure I'm allowed. There's a little bit of a contrast here. I know there's kind of a room full of devil dogs here, and I'm actually a bit of an army guy myself. So when you guys would say "oorah," I would say "huh." So I don't know if that's going to be a problem.
Sorry.
Hey, you know what you know what the good part is, Tanner? We're all red legs.
That's
right.
Ooh.
That's common ground.
Common ground. Saint Barbara.
Logistics.
I think we got to kick it over to Jeff next. And what do you got for Big Tanner?
Are you thinking maybe like a last minute booth change so you guys can get next to the Tango Charlie booth? You thinking that maybe like a last minute thing in the cards? I heard they're going to be there.
No, I assume Tango Charlie is going to be there, and they're going to label their booth Massenomics 2.
Yeah.
Like there's like change one of the letters, or actually, I think they'll change absolutely nothing. They'll just also go claiming to be the Massenomics booth.
Nice.
So
fake beards and wigs.
That's what everybody was doing, right?
Yeah. Tango Charlie ripped off one of our more popular designs, a parody design that we've done for like the last 7 or 8 years, and that's been a little ongoing thing for the last couple of weeks, but not that big of a deal. We get kind of worked up about things for short periods of time, and then I get over it. So
well, I was telling Diana on Sunday I went fishing, and I listened to the podcast that I think I'm one behind now. I think I haven't listened to the latest one, and I was listening on the way up because I had a nice hour and a half drive. And there was a point where I think it was you, but it might have been Tommy, where you were like, hey, if you're listening to this with your kids, we're glad that you usually feel like you can listen to you with your kids, but stop listening right now. And I just like went after Tango Charlie. And I told Dana, I was like, yeah, they seemed like they were actually upset. And she's like, no way. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure they were upset.
Yeah.
And
we
enjoyed that.
Yeah. I don't really swear that. Like, swearing isn't, I'd have no problem with swearing. It's just not like all that common in my language usually. But when I get worked up about something like that, I know the F-bomb will pop out from time to time. So I thought that's a fair warning. Also, PJ's he might be wearing a lift hat right now.
He is.
So I'm not on video right now. You guys are on video. Is my funny work picture showing up there?
No, we can see your face. You're going to make the YouTube channel for all 174 subscribers.
I'm on video. Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is great. Yeah, there we go.
What a handsome fella!
Yeah, can you see the trailer back there?
Yeah,
I
don't see it. It fell off.
Are you drinking still? Are you drinking still water? I would have expected a case of Crispy Boys back there.
Well, it's a long trip, so I don't want to spoil myself for the whole thing. But I actually pulled into a truck stop, so it's me and all the truckers, much like me here. All of us truck and trailer guys here.
Is your truck stopped?
I'm stopped now.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, good. So, at the truck stop. Good. Nice.
Yeah, well, I wanted to get this, capitalize on this good service. So
well, we know that you never met Trey, but now that you can see his beautiful face and his bass fish in the background, we'll let Trey see what he has questions for you as an Arnold newbie.
Well, that's where I was going to go with my question, Tanner, is as far as a first time popping my cherry, what's a can't miss at the Arnold?
First thing I would make sure to check out is the bathroom. You're going to want to fully capitalize on the bathroom experience. Anyone that's familiar with Massenomics or seen any Massenomics stuff over the last couple of years, we like to joke about the bathrooms, how much of a disaster they are. Sometimes I feel like people get a little disappointed because they go to the bathrooms and they might just be okay. You know, it might not be horrific. Like, I feel like people expect a horrific experience at this point. So to best have the horrific experience, you go like Saturday midday, and the Arnold bathrooms should be terrible at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. You should get the full.
It's worth going early and often so you can see the progression. It's like watching a lifter get stronger. It's just like,
I love it. I've bought a hotel room. I bought a plane ticket, and the first thing I need to check out is the bathrooms over an extended period of time.
The bathroom,
and I'm actually pretty excited.
Yeah, that's of course where I got to say first is the bathrooms. Beyond that, it slightly more serious. It is just the interesting feel of the Arnold.
Yeah.
It's maybe a little hard to describe to someone. It's like, so I live in South Dakota. We have the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, kind of a destination thing. And it's a little hard to describe what the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally is like. And what a lot of people say, or what I'll say is, well, you almost got to go once. So you're like, okay, that's what that's like. And that's kind of how I feel about the Arnold is, to some people, I wouldn't tell them you need to be at this every year, but you do need to come almost once if you're into lifting or the scene at all, like just experiencing it once. And you're like, oh, that's what that's like. That is kind of wild. And it is just kind of like social media, Instagram, YouTube world come to life in front of your face, where it's like, oh, Arnold just walked by. And, like, oh, there's CT Fletcher at the Strength Co booth.
Booth 1245.
Yeah. Saturday, 2 p.m. Actually, I don't know the time.
There you go. That's at 1:30, but you're close enough.
Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So that's what I would, it's the overall feel. The one other thing I would say is if you have time, go to the North Market. It's just like a block or two walk out of the convention center.
Okay.
It's a little semi-indoor, outdoor. I guess it's really indoor. It just has like a concrete floor feel to it. And it's got a bunch of food shops in there. And a place that we eat at every single year is Hubert's Polish Kitchen. And we just buy an absurd amount of Polish food there every year, and it is so good. So Hubert's Polish Kitchen, that's anyone that's maybe even listening to this that could be at the Arnold, check out Hubert's Polish Kitchen in the North Market.
Sold.
Wow. As a guy from a state starting with the word South, I'm a little surprised you chose the North Market, but it must be really good.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Usually I would, so in the Carolinas, what is the better one? Is it South, just like in the Dakotas then? Or?
Oh yeah. It's not even close. You know how in South Dakota, you have great places like Aberdeen,
right,
Storyland, Sioux Falls, Crew Falls, if you will. And then North Dakota, It's like, there's like Fargo. Now Jordy's probably rolling over right now he's a Greenville, North Carolina native. So he's probably upset, but, hey, first to secede, that's all I can say.
Okay. It's also kind of funny, how, to me, I'm like, how can people not remember which Dakota we're from? It's obviously South Dakota. It hasn't been until like the last few months, Grant, that I definitively know that you live in South Carolina, not North Carolina. I interchange those two without knowing the difference. But I do know now, but just very recently can I really claim that I know that confidently. I
feel like our friendship is blossoming then, because I remember at my first Arnold, I'm only a back-to-back champ. So this is I'm going for my three-peat right now. But at my first one, you were like, oh, that's Jen Thompson. She's from South Carolina. And I was like, oh, really? Yeah. Where? And you're like, oh, I'm not sure. And then she comes over because that's how nice of a person she is. And she's like, oh, hey. I'm like, oh, you're from South Carolina? She's like, no, I'm from Denver, North Carolina. I was like, oh, okay. And you were like, is that a lot different? I was like, yeah, that's a lot different.
Yeah.
But now you know. I mean, I never thought I'd know so much about South Dakota. So,
Yeah, you've been there before and probably going again.
Oh, I'm going in July, and I'm going, and the first thing I'm doing, and you can Mary, Tommy, anyone can fight me on, is I'm going to the Massenomics gym with no sign, and I'm putting a pin in the upstate of South Carolina. That's the very first move I'm doing. I see it every time, and I say, I'm going to claim that.
You better hurry, because there's probably other South Carolina people coming. You want to be the first in South Carolina. So you better, there's going to be a mad race that weekend for a bunch of people to do that same thing, claim their state first.
I guess I'll just come a few days early. I can always hang out at Pounders if I get bored.
Oh, we'll have to, you can drive the Mary C10 pickup around a little bit.
Oh, what year is that? What year is that truck?
It's a real nice year. It's a 1969.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we got to kick it around to PJ. Let him ask you a question.
Hey,
let's have it.
Hey, what's up?
Big PJ, how we doing?
I'm doing good. None of my friends know if I live in North Carolina or South Carolina either. So I totally get it. They also don't know what kind of Asian I am. So it's just, I think it's one of the same.
It's pretty ambiguous.
It is just Asia.
Oh, I was worried for a second that was going to be your question for me. As I have
what kind of Asian?
Which brings me to my question.
Don't get it wrong.
You better get it right, Tanner.
No, so I think I have to bring Bitcoin into this discussion. So I'll just start with saying,
what's the blockchain height?
We went over this. I can tell you right
800
now.
800 and something.
832, 329. Obviously, look at it.
We're up 24% since the start of the podcast. So
that's a fact.
We're headed to the moon.
Not like since the start of tonight's podcast, but since the start you started the podcast.
Who knows? I haven't checked, but yeah.
I mean, what's 9 weeks amongst friends?
Right.
So if I visit the Massenomics booth at the Arnold, can I pay in Bitcoin?
Oh, I wish we could accept Bitcoin. We don't have any. We would have to accept such a fractional amount of a Bitcoin. How does that work actually? How small can you subdivide a Bitcoin?
100 million.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You could actually, not to get into the inner workings of your business, but if you're using Square or Shopify, you can just turn it on.
So we can take a bit. Okay, so we can. We have a Square reader. So yeah, I retract that. We would love to take your Bitcoin.
Well,
I'm not sure exactly.
I'd love to come buy a hat with Bitcoin.
So how does that work within Square or Shopify? Does it just turn it into cash for you?
Yeah, no. So you actually have
or do you have Bitcoin at that point?
You have to get a commerce account with some type of merchant, like a Coinbase. So I toggle it on and off on my store just because I think it's funny to have it on. And so one time we did get a nice order it was like a, 2,000 USD order for plates. And I just realized it was paid in Bitcoin. It was for pickup in Santa Ana. And it was a Mexican guy, which I can say because I'm married to one, that drove up from Mexico. And I just thought it was so interesting that he paid in Bitcoin. And I was like, why did you pay in Bitcoin? He's like, oh, I bought Bitcoin a few years ago and I've never known what to do with it. And I saw that your store took Bitcoin. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Hey, sucker.
So it's basically free.
I don't know anything about it and I could be completely off base on it. But my take on this is as an actual currency, I get that it's a vehicle for investment and it seems to be working well as that. But as a currency, and the circles that I run in, I don't see that that's a real thing, right? People aren't yes, let's exchange Bitcoin for goods and services. That's not really. I mean,
my short take on that is that it's the most secure, most inconvenient currency of all time.
Right.
Which is why politicians in DC love to use it for certain services.
Services.
I don't know if they're paying for any goods, but
strength go plates.
Yeah, things that you do on islands and that sort of thing.
Exactly, that sort of thing. Yeah.
With everything going on. Yeah.
With everything going on, yeah. Actually, I know you're a big war movie buff. Diana and I watched the other night Greyhound. Have you seen that?
Oh, I have not seen it.
So it's Apple TV. I don't know if that's in your wheelhouse.
I don't have Apple TV.
So I would say it's worth it to buy for a month after you come back from the Arnold and your digestive system clears back and your life's back to normal. Because right now, all of us are watching Masters of the Air.
Oh, I want to see that. I was thinking about waiting until that series is all out, and then I'll get Apple TV so I can binge the whole thing.
Yeah, so that's definitely worth it. And then Greyhound is
Tommy Hanks, right?
Is Tommy Hanks, and that's why I'm bringing this up because you mentioned the islands. Because about halfway through the movie, I just said to Diana, I'm like, Tom Hanks, what an American icon! This guy, this is amazing. Forrest Gump filmed in my hometown. now here he is 30 years later, this war movie. It's like amazingly done. And she's like, yeah, he was on Epstein Island. I was like, wait, what? You can't take Tom Hanks from me. You can take lots of famous people from me, but don't you take Tom Hanks.
It was only a layover though. So it wasn't.
Yeah.
Doesn't Tom Hanks' son have things going on too? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't either.
Probably. Take Stephen Hawking, but that's Tom Hanks.
Yeah, exactly. I did hear you guys' conversation one of the prior weeks. Big first-time caller, long-time listener.
One of our 5 listeners.
Our listeners.
Yeah. All 5.
You were talking about your favorite, I don't know if it was military films or I actually don't even know what the exact conversation, but you brought up Generation Kill, and I really, even not as a Marine, I thought that was a great series. I like that. And Band of Brothers, of course. I probably watched Band of Brothers 5 or 6 times from start to finish, and it never gets old. So Band of Brothers, big shout out Band of Brothers.
Yeah, well, so that's the same maker that makes Masters of the Air.
Right, that's what I hear. So I'm very, very much. And the Pacific. Have you guys ever seen the Pacific?
Oh, phenomenal!
Big war movie guys over here.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, you got any parting shots for Tanner? Any last minute details we need to get? I mean, the most exciting part to me about today is you get to talk to Grant, because starting tomorrow it's Content Grant, and it's just a different person. It's the head of marketing. But even then, I'm just excited to put one in the old Vice, because it's not something you get to do that many times.
Not that many times a year. I always love tossing one right into the old Vice. Like, small point of clarification, is this completely not Content Grant? Because we are on a podcast, a recorded podcast. So
hey,
I think that would count as content.
No one listens, so it's not content.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. It is quite the whirlwind, though. It is the whole whirlwind. It's a ton of work, but also a lot of fun coinciding all along the way. So hopefully we get to go out and get some good food and some brewskis at some point in time too. I always like a good brewski after an Arnold day.
I mean, who would you say? And we just have to mention them. I can't say one or the other, but what things are you excited about seeing Big Ron and Big Connor?
Oh, I'm a big Ron guy, and I don't know if I've been officially on record as that. Big Connor, of course, also, but also a big Ron guy. So I'm definitely excited to see those guys. Haven't seen them since July. Also, the other thing I'd say, since I hadn't met Big Tre yet, I was really excited about. This won't work now, so the plan is foiled. So I'll just spill the beans on it. But I was gonna find you, like, hopefully outside of the Strength Co. booth setting before I saw you the first time, and go up to you and say, "Oh, aren't you the guy from the OK podcast?" And see if I could catch you on that. And,
get it all the time, man.
Another one.
And I was really hoping I could catch you with that. I mean, it's not going to work now, but
you can always have Tommy do it.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't have said that. Can you edit this out?
Yeah, we'll edit it out.
Post.
We'll remove it from Tre's memory, and
we have the little Men in Black thing.
Men in Black.
I already forgot.
Yeah.
So you are our first unofficial official guest, which is cool, because that's something you could take to your grave. I could see it on your tombstone one day. Episode 009 of the OK podcast. But another first that we're really excited about is we actually have our first paying sponsor. And, we kind of started this as a joke, and now it's like,
tax preparers?
Tax preparers.
Yeah, okay.
And so I'm just going to give you a couple bullet points here. And then, before we have you log off, you can just maybe pitch our friends over at BW Tax. Their website's bwtaxllc.com. And they can do your taxes no matter where you live. You don't have to just live in South Carolina or South Dakota. And you could be a small business, a large business, a W-2 guy. You could be a 1099 guy. And BW Tax can solve your issues. So with that information, how can you spend this for the great people of South Dakota?
That's what I love. What I've always loved about BW Tax is, you can be someone like me. I have a W-2 job still. Got to support the wife, the kids. There you go. Kids, there's child tax credits. It's the government has really created a wild maze that is income tax and loopholes and all that. And that's what the folks at BW Tax, that's their bread and butter. I mean, that's what they're known for and what they've come to be so excellent at. And that's why, you could talk to them remotely, even if you're from some place in the sticks like Western Northeast South Dakota, you can still talk to a warm body at BW Tax. It's not a bot. It's not a chat GPT service. It's real people there providing a real service. And that's what I love about them at bwtax.com.
bwtaxllc.com.
Yeah, that's what it was. Sometimes I forget, but that's what I like. That's what I like about them.
That was. Can I tell you something? That brought a tear to my eye. That
we're gonna. I'm like I need the ad read.
I think I'm crying right now. Just a little bit.
We're definitely gonna play that back in weeks to come.
With like patriotic music underneath.
Yeah.
The people at BW Tax are gonna be like, who is that guy and why does he know something about our tax service?
So we like to roll things across the screen once in a while and then point at them later. So Jordy, just have a Massenomics.
There it goes.
There it goes. There it is. Fly across the screen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. Wow.
So that was cool. And I mean, Big Tanner, we gotta just promote. Where do we come find you? What do we come buy? What's your favorite T-shirt for sale?
Yeah, so if you want to, if you're into listening to a podcast, if you've made it this far, I assume you're into listening podcasts. We do have the Massenomics podcast. You could check that out. Find it on wherever you're listening to this. You can find the Massenomics podcast. We recorded our 413th straight episode, a new episode every week for now until all of eternity. You can check that out. So Massenomics podcast. Then you can go to our website. We sell our merchandise, our wares there. You can buy shirts and hats and all that stuff. Probably the thing I like to point out is our drink spotter. It's a couple of variations of that. Basically, the fanciest cup holder that you'll find for your gym.
Can you see me
places.
right now, Tanner? Because I'm holding the gold-plated 5/8 inch. I got the big boy right here.
That really is gold-plated too. That's the real McCoy right there. That's one of only a very few. I've got one sitting in my recording studio too. So that's a very limited edition drink spotter right there. So check out the drink spotter and then subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've been working on that. And then check out booth 205 at the Arnold Sports Festival. If you're there, we'll give you I survived the Arnold bathrooms sticker complimentary even if you don't buy it. So,
say no more.
So you can get in on that. And one other thing about the OK podcast, do you think it's a coincidence? I don't think it is. That as soon as the OK podcast comes out and starts rolling and garnering all this attention, Rogan comes back to Apple Podcasts. As soon as the OK podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, all of a sudden the Joe Rogan Experience is available now on.
Feels threatened, shaking in his boots.
Tanner, there's even another layer of that. So the week of episode 1, which no one really knew who we were at the time, it hadn't blown up like it has now.
Yeah.
But Rogan announces that. But week 4, guess who's going to the Arnold for the first time? Jocko.
Jocko, that's
big
right.
podcast
Jocko.
Guy. He heard that a bunch of military guys would be at the booth, and so I mean, that's the whole industry is just kind of shaking. But that's why we're glad you're our friends because you're not scared.
I'm not scared at all. I mean, I wonder if is the Arnold too late in the day for Jocko though? It doesn't. It doesn't start at 3 a.m.
Well,
he's going to be there.
So
sucks.
We have this guy, Steve Bake, that's going to pull at out of Ohio. Is going to pull at the booth. Big Steve. He is a big boy. Saturday, 2 p.m. I think he's going to try to pull 900 beltless, strapless. And so we reached out to Jocko and said, "Hey, do you want to pull at the booth?" And he said, yeah, do you mind if I lift at 04? And we just said, well, sure. We just don't think anyone will be there. So I think, that's probably why he lifts so early in the morning. So no one sees what's going on.
Gets nervous. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a lot of anxiety if people are around. I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we know the big wheels got to keep on turning. And as you go eastbound and down to Crew Falls, looking forward to seeing you. And 48 hours from now, we may be eating some buffalo chicken wings together or scarfing down some Polish sausages. Time waits for no man.
Right.
We're going to be eating all kinds of stuff, but keep in mind, this will be content, the Strength Co. and content Massenomics personalities. There's going to be a lot of cameras rolling and a lot of YouTube videos getting made here. So everyone's going to have to be on at all times. Like there's no off switch this weekend. It's all go, no show this weekend.
If I were to put it in simple terms, we really can't hold anything back now.
You can hold nothing back. Nothing. I'm kind of surprised if you guys are all going to be there. It's like they'll let anyone in there.
Wait, I've got one last saved round question.
Saved round.
So on your trip, have you hit the heart of the Midwest yet, Indiana?
Well, Iowa is my theory is that Iowa is the epicenter of the Midwest, and the farther you get from Iowa, the less Midwest you are.
I've never heard that take before.
I believe Iowa. It's what I mean. I've developed this take over years of spending hours per week discussing this on a podcast to people that somehow continue to listen. And the longer I go, that's my theory, is that Iowa is the dead center of the Midwest, geographically and culturally. And literally, you could draw a radius. You attach a yarn of string to anything, and you draw a circle of any diameter there. And the farther out you get, the farther you are from the Midwest.
So you just went pure geographical, just pure geographical.
No,
look
I think
on the map.
geographically and culturally, because I think they go hand in hand to a certain extent.
Okay.
So the farther you get geographically away, the farther the cultural relevance it dissipates. Also,
Des Moines, I always call the Paris of the Midwest. So
yeah. Des Moines, it's like it's right there in the name too. So I agree with that.
Out of 5 people here, only 2 of us have been to Aberdeen. So
it's hard.
No more.
I don't even know if you can rightfully judge what is or isn't Midwest until you've been to Western Northeast South Dakota, and then that gives you it's just like a shift in perspective. Like once you've experienced that, you just see things through a new lens. There's a whole separate lens. But we're gonna hit up South Dakota, Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, or not in that order. Strike that, reverse it, and then eventually we'll get over to Ohio.
There you go.
1,000 miles, one direction.
Wow.
Not the band.
I only have 360.
That's a hop, skip, and a jump.
It's really nothing.
That is. I'm excited to see all you guys there, and I can guarantee you this to each one of you that's going to be there, or anyone that's listening that's going to be there, I will put one in the vise for everyone that I can. My vice is going to be busy this weekend, just squeezing and squeezing.
and for people like my mother and father that for some reason listen to this podcast, we're talking about a handshake. Like your hand is a vice, and 2 hands come together and they shake. And I may have 3 of those on film with Tanner's hand. No homo goes without saying, but
of course.
Sometimes it doesn't hurt to say it. But.
Yes. It's not gay if you're wearing boot bands. That's what they always said to me. Well, Tanner, thanks for coming on episode 009. We don't have any fun games to play, but I think that this interview was underrated, and that tax ad, that is going to be read for weeks to come.
Yeah, bwtaxllc.net for all your tax.
.com.
.com. It is. It's that
what
a
is
thing?
It, 1992?
Turn on your dial-up, boys.
.net.
.com.
Yeah, .com. All right, awesome. See you guys in 2 days.
Yep.
Drive safe, brother.
Drive
Woo!
safe.
Yeah,
All right,
be
thanks.
safe.
Yep, later.
Okay.
Okay. Cool beans. Cool beans.
Cool beans. Cool
Cool
beans.
beans.
Yeah, that was pretty cool
Dang.
beans.
Wow.
That was good.
Very cool beans.
Sorry to surprise you guys in that. So Tanner and
I loved
have been,
it.
Tanner and I have been playing a massive game of phone tag. So I usually talk to Tanner 1 to 2 times a week and on the phone on top of text. And for about 10 days, I don't even know. It must be 10 calls from either side. And we just never connected. And so then today he called me right before I was walking into a meeting at 4:30. And a meeting sounds like I'm some big corporate person. Right before I was meeting with someone at 4:30. And it was like 4:23. And I was like, dude, I got 7 minutes. So we were trying to catch up. And that's when I said to him, I said, I wanted to talk to you one last time because I know you're going to call me on the road from the Arnold, but it's going to be like content. So I'm going to have to be like content Grant. And so we had a good chuckle about that. I said, actually, we're recording a podcast tonight. I said, maybe we'll just call you. And he said, oh, perfect. I'm in the car for 3 hours. And I almost told you guys, I said, it'll be better just off the cuff.
That was good. I thought we got hacked.
I love
it. At first, I was like, oh, we got hacked.
Yeah. Who's this gigantic man with this still photo from 1995?
Someone from LinkedIn hacked in.
Who hacked us?
Oh, man.
That was the best ad read I've ever heard in my life.
That was good. You're going to have to mash that up into a short.
I mean, yeah.
It's like he has his own podcast. Like
He's done it before.
It's almost like he's done this 413 times.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, we got to get into some sports rabbit holes. Take me down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're jumping into sports now. Grant, if you wanted to talk about rugby, Six Nations, kind of like give us the rundown on what it is, and then kind of, is it still going on?
The never-ending tournament?
It's still going on. So it's a round robin. So there's 6 nations. And so they all play each other. And then it's a point system, kind of like hockey. And so if you win, you get whatever it is, 4 points. And then if you draw, you get a point or whatever. But they all play each other. Because I was a little confused because a couple teams had lost. I was like, why is this still going? So Six Nations is still going. What game did I watch last Saturday? Scotland won. I think they beat Wales. Is that right? And then the England game happened. So the next one that I think is the big one is Ireland, England. I mean, Ireland is by far looking like they're going to win the whole thing. I mean, it's not even close the way they're beating people, especially countries like Italy, which I'm always torn with because I played rugby and I'm like, oh, Irish. My grandmother was from Ireland. She's a Sweeney. I love Ireland. But then like my namesake is Italian. And then you watch Whitey Bulger and the Winter Hill Gang and you're like, I'm Irish. And then you watch, Goodfellas and the Italians in New York. You're like, no, I'm Italian. I never know which mob to join. Oh, I see the cat over there. Yeah, nice. Meow. Let's see if Calhoun will come back. Meow, meow. But anyway, yeah.
Wait, so which one did you choose?
I'm Irish Italian. I'm in both.
Because they're
mobs.
winning.
Yeah, I'm in both mobs.
But whoever's winning is the one you're going to beat, right?
I'm pulling. Yeah, yes. I'm pulling. I think.
Nice.
For rugby, I naturally just go Ireland anyway. Because I mean, I think you think. Yeah. Ireland. Yeah. When you hear
like
the
Italy,
word
like
rugby.
a traditional powerhouse.
No, so they just got added into the Six Nations in like 2004 or something. Okay. So anyway, but it's a round robin, so more games to come. Really fun. I was watching the game. Diane and I were going to go somewhere, and I went down to watch this big place, outdoor TV. I sit down, and this guy's talking to me in like this British accent, and he's like blah 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 blah, and he's got a soccer game on his computer, and he's like, "Oh, you're here for the rugby match?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, what a great try!" And I'm like, "Good." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "Yeah, when I lived in London, I lived right next to FC Stadium, and blah blah blah." And I'm texting Jeff, and Jeff's like, "As I'm at the Michael Jordan statue outside." He's like, "Ho ho ho ho, bloody hell!" And I'm like, "Oh." Wow, like I'm just sitting in Greenville, South Carolina with a Brit. And I'm like, So where are you from? Because I have these British clients that I've trained for a long time, Rob and Roz. And so I've learned a good bit about, London and England, and that England and the UK and all these things are different. They're not all interchangeable. So I'm like, where are you from? He's like, Tallahassee. And I'm like, Florida? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm from Florida. And I was like,
born and raised.
how long were you in London? He's like, 18 months from my wife's school. I was like, what is happening? And then his brother's a Marine Osprey pilot. His other brother's like a staff sergeant, Army Ranger. And I was just like, where did this voice come from? But anyway.
Did he have a head injury? That might have been it. That's got to be it. Yeah.
Too much football.
Oh my God.
Anyway. Yeah. So that was.
Let's come about this. I think I've been in London longer than that guy has.
Yeah.
18 months. Wait, what?
Yeah. I was like, what?
Got away over there. Hello.
All right. Where else we headed, Jeff? Next slide.
Well, one little detail there. It was a Michael Jackson statue, which makes it even better, I think. It's
Michael Jordan.
Fulham FC. Well, I mean, both are equally random to have outside of like your team's soccer stadium. But yeah, Fulham at the time, I think it was like 2011. Like the owner was obsessed with Michael Jackson. And so he just was like, oh, I'm going to build a Michael Jackson statue and just put it right outside the stadium. So it has nothing to do with like the team other than the owner is like, oh, I love Michael Jackson. So
I just love that people think that I botch the names intentionally, and I never do.
No,
and that was a great example of Michael Jordan is what I thought in my mind.
Do we want to jump into athlete nicknames, or do we want to discuss how they are already trying to expand the expanded college football playoff?
Let's do that one first, and then feel like the athlete names might take a minute.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like Tre posted that article in the Slack thread, and it was just like, oh, they're gonna move to 12, but now they're already like, yeah, and then we're gonna move it to 16 because this 12 one's really, we don't think it's gonna work out. What's happening?
It's 12. I've heard 14 is now what it is.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like starting 2026, I think it bumps up to 14.
Could we just make it an uneven number, like 13, so then Alabama just gets an automatic bye?
They probably already do.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'll always love college football, but
yeah,
the portal's just. I mean, I read that article and I saw everyone talking about it, and I was just thinking, the money part of this is what's messing the whole thing up, and not that they shouldn't be paid, but it's just a completely different game,
which is unregulated, especially after that Tennessee court ruling. Yeah,
yep.
Yeah,
it's just like anything goes now. Like you can barter with them in high school. It's ridiculous.
So I think it's going to take 10 years to level out. And then figure out, like right now you have people like Saban who's like, this isn't college football, which I don't disagree with him, but this is how it is now. And I think there's some teams that are going to get some strokes of luck, pay a bunch of money and do well. And I don't know, but I'm for more teams in the playoffs. I think
a certain number, I guess. I was fine with 12. I think 12 is good.
Cause you're a Big 12 guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Big 12.
But just like at what point in time is like you just start letting everybody in? Like, what's the number? Like I feel
I think 8 was the number. But I
really?
Like 12. Like, do you think the number 12 team in the nation at the end of the season could have gone on a run and beaten essentially probably 2 or 3 top 10 teams? Like, I don't think so.
Are we just so broken as 36-year-old college football fans where we're so used to hey, what's the body of work? What it was your season that's what makes you deserving to play. Whereas as college basketball fans, or I would say, Jeff, I can't speak that much of Tre, even though he's a national championship right now, but as baseball fans, what's baseball all about? Have a 500 season, get hot in October, make the playoffs, go for the pennant, win the World Series. No one's like, oh, but you weren't dominant all year. Like that's what the sport is. So I always ask myself this when I look at college football. It's like, they don't deserve to be there. They don't play anyone. And it's like, well, like put them in a tournament. Let people play the game. I don't know.
But then at what point, like what's then like the threshold of number of teams in the playoff that then diminishes like the regular season? I think that's like a balance they've got to kind of like figure out is like, okay, how do we make the regular season still essentially mean something every week, but also get enough teams in this playoff? Yeah. And I think that is a really interesting point, Grant, of like, that's like there's like a perspective that's, or like a just, oh, this is the way we've had to view, a 12-0 team is like, oh, they've put it in the work, they deserve it. Vice, like maybe a team had a rough 3 games at the beginning of the season and then they rattled off wins for the rest of it. So maybe now they are on level with that team, but we would never see them play at the end of the year. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, I don't know. I think we didn't hit as much sports talk as normal, but I feel like this has been good. I think having Tanner on right before the Arnold's exciting. Tre met him via video. Okay. Big Tre
can't
back
miss.
In the house. Okay.
Back in the saddle.
You gotta cut weight? What are you doing?
Well, Tre, we were just gonna say, with Tanner on, I think we're pushing 2 hours and we're not Rogan yet. So we didn't know if you'd improved kind of your sign off, if you'd figured out the Strength Co's website, if you'd figured out the Instagram handle for the OK podcast, if you could tell people how to follow us. We assume you've been practicing this week.
Are you prepared to be severely disappointed? That's what
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm prepared to clean up the mess.
What episode is this?
This is episode 009. Yeah, that's right.
Just wait, Jeff. Yeah. Just wait.
Exciting. Next week we go 010, right?
Woo. Right.
Yeah, so 010. So
the very last episode.
Live from the Arnold, which we'll just talk about right now because people will listen to this and we're on the Arnold, and hopefully all 196 followers on Instagram can send us DMs. I was kind of thinking today, rather than after slugging it out for 13, 14 hours in the booth, then going to eat dinner, and then it's 11 p.m. before you have another 14-hour day and going to a hotel room recording a podcast, we should just at one point shut the booth down and just film it on the stage and have some heckles from the audience. Maybe some freaks of nature will walk by. It will get it done in the workday, and who knows what'll happen, No one knows. I mean, there may be Meg Squats may walk up. Hey, Meg, come get on cam. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for that.
We'll play the game. Does Tre know this person?
Yeah, does Tre? No. You're going to wear your cowboy hat all weekend, right?
You told me to pack it. It was on the packing list.
Well, you don't really pack a cowboy hat. You just wear it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I just feel like that could make you like an icon at the booth. Like, I talked to the guy in the cowboy hat.
Right.
Yeah.
And
He's a real cowboy.
In Texas,
real life cowboy.
In Texas,
content Tre wearing a cowboy hat.
That's called a hat. All right, Tre, sign us off.
All right, guys. Everybody. Hey, I just want to thank everyone for listening to episode 009 of the
Okay.
So thanks for tuning in to the OK Podcast, where we explore the extraordinary in the ordinary. Connect with us on all major social media platforms. But for the latest updates, please visit www.theokpodcast.com. Remember, we're powered by the Strength Co. and sponsored by BW Tax. Until next time.
We'll see you next time.
Nice.